Hello, welcome to Big Bang Radio Spotlights. This is a show where we talk to independent artists from all around the world all about their music and their process for making it. I'm your host, Isaac Anderson, and today I get to sit down with singer Wendy Moten. Without any further ado, here's the interview. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. So obviously you have quite a career, and we're going to talk about a good amount of that in the coming minutes. But real quick, before we start, what is your earliest musical memory?
Well, my earliest musical memory would be as a kid, 8, 9, 10 years old, singing in church choir. My dad was a minister, and we were at church 4 days a week. So, that's my first audience in the first place where I learned my ear training.
Heard that. Well, you definitely have quite the ear and quite the voice. That was going to be kind of my next question. Kind of like, how did you get started singing? Actually, like, what was it purely just because you were you grew up in the church? Your dad kind of wanted you to sing in church, or was that kind of like say, no, Dad, I want to do this. I really feel like I got a talent for this.
Well, I would have to say it was the first audience because those were my years, like from 8 years old to 16 years old. So that's like a great practice ground. You're there, there's an audience, you can fall, you can forget your lyrics, you can all the stuff you need after you get into the music business. That's where you learn how to get over it. So, I didn't know I really wanted to be in the music business until I would say 1989. And it was the first time I got in my first top 40 band called MVP. And my dad, I was 21. My dad was not happy about it. But my sisters came to my defense and they were like, she needs to try this. Here's a great opportunity. And the place was a great place. People brought their kids there. It was a top 40 band restaurant, but he was not having it. But I ended up fighting for myself. And then I was on my way.
Heard that. Like, so I guess he kind of probably wanted you to go more for like the gospel route or something like that, and wanted you to play the church circuit. But I know that's always difficult, especially because I'm a preacher's son too, and I play music. I know how that can be a definite kind of struggle and kind of hard to see eye to eye. But the places that you have gone are truly really incredible. And the next question I kind of wanted to ask you is, did you ever take like vocal lessons like when you were young, or are you completely self-taught on that?
Well, I have a gift. I always had a gift, but I did end up going to a performing high school, performing creative and performing arts school in Memphis, and it was very hard to get into school. Everybody ended up going to college afterwards. I had a scholarship to Berkeley. It was very difficult. I had headaches every day. So that taught me the techniques, that taught me the ear training, and that gave me the tools I needed to sing any style of music. So, yes, I was taught. I've had some vocal lessons, only one from 3 different people. I just want to see if I'm on point, I'm still together, and I'm still, good behavior, as far as being a singer and being able to make sure that my instrument is going to be there for me, because it's not like, so, you have to make sure you take care of your instrument. So even though I'm 55 now, I'm probably better than I was in the early days.
You said you believed that we'd when I'm thirsty. Oh, when I'm thirsty for you. And then she said, I got some news this morning from Choctaw Ridge.
You have a really kind of diverse spread of things that you sing on. Doing research on you, and I'm trying to remember the exact thing you said, but it was like it was a video, and you were like you were at your kitchen table and you were like plugging a microphone into your interface and like, I'll sing on anything. I sing on heavy metal, I sing on jazz, I sing on this, you know, and it's like I do all these vocals from my kitchen table. And I remember you said you sang on a Buddy Guy record that won Grammys, and like I ain't never seen none of those. I remember that. I thought that was funny. So I think it's really awesome that you have that willingness to kind of go out of like, you know, just just one thing, instead of like you kind of want to encompass everything and kind of and give your talent to so many a wide array of genres. Like, did you ever get one that like, you know, like electric polka slide, like, or something like that? There you're like, there's no way I'm singing on that kind of stuff, or like, were you still like, hey, you know, maybe I can still find some art in that kind of thing? I don't know. Was there ever one that was like so out there that like maybe I don't want to mess with that one? Or I don't know how you think about
I, you know, there was one song, and I wanted to forget it forever. So I don't even remember the details, but it was so far out there that I don't even remember what it was about. But my whole career has been about really amazing opportunities and you know, pretty cool songs. I don't really remember any, you know, ones that'll just, you know, no, I'm not doing that. Haven't had that yet.
like you said, like things were a little bit like obviously now in the musical climate that we have, a lot of people probably don't know how things were kind of like in the early 90s and everything, because the record labels, basically if you didn't have a record label, you really didn't have much of a chance to make it. So being on a label must have been like very, you know, like kind of overwhelming for you. And it looks like you went to all these different places. Again, doing some research on you, it looks like you were all the way in Japan. People in Japan love you. Even looking at your comments now on your YouTube video, there's lots of Japanese people who's like, oh my goodness, I love Wendy Moten, going back to the coming in out of the rain days, you know. And when you were kind of on the label on EMI, were you ever like just overwhelmed with how many people were coming to see you and how many people like knew who you were and having big music videos shot?
Well, first of all, I couldn't believe that I was experiencing having a record deal. That actually people care and would pay for your music. I still hadn't gotten over that because I grew up in Memphis, and you know, 70% of the people were super uber goober talented, all races, super talented. So I never really thought I had anything, you know, interesting to offer. So that was still blowing my mind. So I was just waiting on it to fall apart. Literally, like I'll just ride this out, see how long it lasts. Because I wanted to be a corporate lawyer. And so things kept moving and it kept moving. And of course I wanted to do great work. I took everything seriously. But to be aware of what was happening, I wasn't aware. I just kept doing the work. Now when I look back on my career, I look back and I realize where I was and the opportunity I had. It's like now I'm in the right mindset, but that era is gone. So I have to reinvent myself.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I was going to mention the Julio Iglesias days because, like, you eventually left EMI, and you kind of you really fought for your independence too. And you could have been on that big label. Like, what was the big factor in like you saying, you know what, I don't want to be on this label anymore. I want to do my own thing.
Well, it was just they didn't know what to do with me. And I didn't know what to do with me. So I couldn't even help them. So I take percent responsibility because most people spend their whole life working. I didn't do that. So I couldn't really help the cause. So, you know, when it kind of dissipated a little, it was for the right reason because I really needed to find something else to do, find myself, either stay in the music business or not. But I couldn't continue to be the copy of what the next great thing is. And that's what they were going to. One record they made me Whitney, second record I was Celine Dion, and the third record in 1996 alternative music was out at the time, but they didn't know what to do with a black girl in 1996 that's singing like Paula Cole. They didn't know what to do with that. So and they end up putting that record, which was Life Is What You Make It. They end up putting that on EMI IRS, and Miles co IRS, and he was Sting and you know Sting and the Police. I think he was a manager for Police, but he also had a label because it was just that kind of far away that they were just like, we don't know what to do with this. So I've had numerous lives, and I finally have found my peace here in country music, but I can also do pop music and R&B music. So I'm going to record it all. I'm going to just continue to record it all.
Very, very nice. And that's kind of where I wanted to hop on to next, because you, again, we mentioned Julio Iglesias, but you also, I have all the names that you've worked with right over here. It's like Faith Hill, Tim McGraw, Martina McBride, Vince Gill, Pat Boone, even up to recently, working with the great Pat Boone. How was that transition from going kind of up center of the stage, you were like the main event, to like supporting another artist? Like, were you ever like, well, I can sing just as good as Martina McBride can. I'm gonna hop up here and do a solo. Like, were you ever kind of like that, or are you like, no, I'm just there to serve the artist? Like, there's got to be a little bit of that because I mean, you're obviously a great singer.
No, not at all. Not at all. You know why? Because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So if you don't know what you need to do, an opportunity comes, then you need to take it. Then you need to learn from it. I'm going to learn whatever it is for me to learn. Even if it's as simple as they have the same struggles as you psychologically. Am I good enough? Will I pull this off? Do I know this song? Just regular stuff. Seeing that they go through the same exact thing. Oh, that gave me the strength I need to just go wherever it lands and learn. And it's taken me this far, to the point that Vince Gill is in my life. He's in my life when I'm ready to be a solo artist again. I know who I am. I know what I want to sing. And I have all this experience and knowledge that I've gained from all these great artists.
That's awesome. I love your attitude, just on music in general. Like, you're so giving as an artist, and I'm definitely, the world has given back to you in a lot of ways, because it sounds like you've had quite a good amount of success. And I do want to hop onto your most recent solo stuff right now, because you mentioned you felt like you found your voice. You kind of felt like you knew what you wanted to do, and this is when you made the move to be a solo artist again. And the record that subsequently came after that was, I believe it was I Got You Covered, and was produced by Vince Gill, right?
I had saved my money from a Martina McBride tour. I toured with Martina McBride 2014 to 2016. I was determined to save my money to do a new project, and I wanted to be to afford. I didn't know what it was going to be. And then Vince Gill came in my life in 2016, and the goal was just to continue to save money and keep this gig, because in my mind, he's the emperor of country music, and for me. Mm-hmm. So here I am gigging with the emperor of country music, and the goal is to keep the gig. So I studied country, I studied his music, and I found out I wanted to sound just like the record, because I didn't want him to only hire me for pop country. I wanted him to be able to hire me for the traditional country, the bluegrass. I wanted him to be as free as he wanted to be in his shows. And I learned that. I found old from the female country singers, and I wanted to witness how they performed and how they make that country sound. So once I figured that out, then I knew that all I had to do was just learn Vince Gill's songs, just like the record, and then he wouldn't want anyone else but me.
You got it cornered. You cornered the market. You cornered the market. Well, you've definitely done.
I cornered him.
Yeah, you definitely have some great music out there. And if people want to listen to that music, or just keep a track of what you're doing right now, how can people keep a track of you on social media?
Well, they can go to my website, which is wendymoten.com, WendyMoten.com. All of the streaming sites have music. The record is called I've Got Covered. it's a traditional because everybody is current and everybody's doing new stuff. I figured, I'll just go the way opposite direction. And there's absolutely hardly any competition there. And so it's called I've Got You Covered, and I'm covering the greatest country artists like Tammy Wynette and Jeannie Seeley and Ernest Tubb, songs I grew up listening to. But Ben Gill, I talked to him about it, and he said, "Hey, I'll produce it for you." And he said, "You don't even have to pay me." I said, "Hallelujah," because I probably can't afford you anyway. So, and he was just like, "No, you need to be heard." And he gave his time and heart and soul. He came up with all the songs. He came up with the music at his house. He came up with the musicians. He chose the songs the day of the session. So some of those songs I had never heard in my life, like Each Season, never heard in my life, but he was dialed in. He totally chose the right songs. So my music is, all the little, Wendy Moten, I've Got You Covered. I'm on all the social media. Please reach out to me and, say hello.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Before we go, I have one more question for you. So before we go, Wendy, what is your favorite movie?
Oh, man.
This always seems to be the hardest one for people. We ask them all these hard questions.
Because I'm a fanatic. My love of music came from television shows and movies. So it's hard because I watch TV more than listen to music. So that's why it's hard, because it's genres that I love more than a movie. Man, movie, my favorite movie. That is so hard. That's so hard. Answer you, because then I have to go through the genres.
That's all right. Well, if you think about it, shoot us an email.
I got a favorite. Okay, it's got to be a movie, right?
Yeah, let's try to stick with film if you can.
Yes, movies. Let's see. Well, I love the movies 70s. So I covered this song, Ode to Billy Joe, because I loved watching that movie every summer. Ode to Billy Joe.
Thanks to Wendy for sitting down with us and talking all about her music. If you guys want to see more interviews just like this, you can go to facebook.com/Studio67NCC, youtube.com/NashCom College, or you can find us on Instagram at Studio67NCC. Thank you all for watching. I'm Isaac Anderson, and until next time, stay lovely.